Okay, hi guys. Trying something new so you can all see me and hopefully it'll be a bit more fun, but the topic itself is pretty awesome. Today we are going to talk about new approvals and signatures, which is a big deal. We have spent the past few months developing this incredible feature. I'm very excited to show it to you. We are going to go through an agenda here. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you, talk about what this new feature really does. We're going to see it in action. We are introducing as of today, approvals and electronic signatures for subcontracts, change orders, and subcontract change orders. Not only are we introducing approvals and electronic signatures, but we have introduced an entirely automated way of conducting this really time-consuming process. So it's really exciting. There's a lot of thought that have gone into it. There is a lot of development that went behind it and a lot of testing. So I am really excited to jump into it. I'm going to save the setup for after I show you how everything works. And then once everyone is so wowed by it, then we'll get into how to get it done. We're also going to encourage you to reach out to support. Let us help you with the setup when needed. And then I'm going to take a little bit of time to show you a sneak peek. We have another release coming out in about a week and a half. So that's another exciting bunch of features coming your way. So we'll take a little bit of time just to show you what's coming up next week. And then I'll save some time for questions. So let's dive in. Electronic signatures and approvals, the intended flow is that you're going to create your source document as normal in Premier. So just as you would have create your subcontract, create your change order in Premier. And then instead of printing it, emailing it out, waiting for someone to sign it, getting it back in, all you're going to do is going to hit a new button that you're going to see there called Send Signature for Approval. This can be either an internal approval where you're just approving that document and sending it on for another signature, or it could be that you require an actual signature on that document. During the setup portion, you're able to determine and decide whether or not you want to have an approval or you need a signature. So we're giving you that option. This typical electronic signature process was done by a lot of our clients in DocuSign. DocuSign charged, I think, upwards of $1.50 to $2 per document or per signature. So when we started to think about the process and started to figure out how we wanted to bring this to you all, we figured why not pass on some of that savings to you, and we built it in-house so that you don't have to pay per signature or per document to get these electronic signatures done. So once you send that out into the world, again, this can be internal or external. So in the instance where you need to send this to an architect who's not a user of Premier, you can send it out. The architect can either approve it or sign it. And once they do that, we send an automated email to the approver, to the signer, to say, hey, there's a document ready for your approval, for your review, please sign. And once they do that, an automated signature is then sent to the next person in the chain of command. So you can have up to 5 approvers go through this process, and the emails will automatically be sent. You don't have to worry about it. It's basically set it and forget it. And then once the entire chain is completed, then Premier gives you the opportunity to set it up such that everything auto posts. So imagine a subcontract. You send that out, you issue it for approval and signature. It's done. The subcontractor signed it. Your PM signed it. Premier will automatically post that commitment for you and attach the document to the subcontract in the screen. And we also added the ability to add a compliance so that it can be marked completed and signed. So you also don't have to chase around to complete it, to sign off on a compliance saying that the subcontractor signed the agreement. A similar process for change order, but I will wait to show you how awesome that one is when we get into Premier itself. And then once everything is, from a change order perspective, from a subcontract perspective, once everything is signed and completed, there's nothing left for you to do. So that's what we love the most about this process, is we took away all the chase, we took away all of the printing and signing and uploading into Premier. Everything is already done for you. So let's look at Premier. Okay, So I'm going to start with a subcontract, and then we'll create a change order, and then I will make that change order link to the subcontract we create together so you can understand and see the flow. So I always like to start with the job budget control. If you don't know what the job budget control does, I encourage you to join our Premier certification and I will show you. But for now, I'm just going to run through it really quickly in the interest of time. So when we get to the job budget control, it's going to pull up our estimate. Okay, hold on. Just going to, there we go. Sorry, a little glitch in my GoToMeeting here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what, I need to issue a subcontract to the San Francisco drywallers, and I'm going to issue that for $5,000. I'm going to hit generate subcontract, and the system is going to kick open that subcontract screen. It's going to pre-fill everything for me in terms of my cost items, in terms of the amount, because I just put it in. And it's going to allow me, right here, this top one, it's going to allow me to enter a description. So let's say new benches. When I decide to put in my full scope of work, I can do that here. You'll notice here that my lines are pre-filled. It's automatically taking 10%. At this point, I really don't need to do anything else. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send for signature. Once I send for signature, I've set it up in the setup to ensure that I disable the post action, because I want to make sure nobody else is going in superseding who I want to approve this subcontractor, and I'm ensuring that nobody can actually post the document. So once I hit send for signature, I get this little pop-up. If I have backup documentation, let's say additional drawings or specs that I need to send to that subcontractor, I can also attach them here, and the system will send not only the subcontract, but all the backup documentation as well, all the schedules that need to go with it. So I'm going to hit OK. Once I hit OK, that is what issues the email, the automated email, to now Jennifer Lopez, who will go in and sign the subcontract. So I'm going to hit OK. Give me a moment while I jump over to my email so that I can pull it up for you. So the email that you're going to get looks like this, or the approval will get looks like this. Hi, Jennifer Lopez, please review and sign the following documentation. In the instance where I don't want them to sign and I would just like them to approve, such as my project manager, the email will say, please sign and approve the following document. Okay, otherwise the process is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and review document. And that opens it on another screen. So let me just pull that over. Okay, so here's what that signature portal looks like. Very simple, very clean, very easy for anyone to understand. They don't have to be a Premier user. So at the top, we have signature request. Please review and sign the following document. So it includes the job, it includes the subcontract number. It shows the log of who sent the signature. If there were any comments, it would show up here. It's showing who it's waiting on. There's an actual link to the subcontract, so I can click on that actual PDF and review it prior to, sorry, opened on a different screen, prior to me signing it. So here's my subcontract. Look how beautiful. Close that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and sign electronically. Should the person that you send it to decide they do not want to sign electronically and they would prefer to sign it manually, scan it, and re-upload it, they have that option by signing on paper. If they don't agree with the price, they want more money, they want to charge you less money, that would be preferable, then you want to do decline. But if everything looks good, everyone is in agreement, we're going to hit sign electronically. So here, the first time that the approver or the signer comes into this screen, they're going to have to check off the terms and conditions. So you're going to check that off. And then they're going to be able to create their signature. So they can draw this, which I'm not really good at, or they can type it. And look how pretty that is. Or if they have an existing signature, they can easily upload that image, and that's what would get pushed through. Then I'm going to hit accept and sign, and it takes me to the document. Now, the main difference when creating this or developing this, the brains behind this, Farham Musavi said, this is really annoying to use DocuSign and have to drag and drop that signature in the right place. So we designed it such that it will automatically place that signature where you determine it needs to go. So the user doesn't have to fiddle and find where in the document the signature is required. We autofill for you based on the form fields that you enter on the particular document during the setup phase. So here's Jennifer Lopez's signature. We're filling in her name, we're filling in her company, and we're also pre-filling the date that it was signed. So everything is completely accurate, real time in terms of when the document was electronically approved. So then we're going to hit finish to complete this. I can enter a comment if I'd like. Thanks for the business. Finish. And once I do this, back in Premiere, I'm just going to move this off to the side. Back in Premiere, you'll notice before I refresh, my post is disabled like I mentioned. But I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. And now we can see the approval log here. So Farham Musavi sent out the contract to be signed. Jennifer Lopez reviewed it and signed it. And now it's waiting on the project manager of the company, which is me, to go ahead and sign it. So now if I go back into my email, I'm going to get another email notification that is going to ask me to sign it. But but before I do that, I wanted to show you another neat feature, which is we have introduced a new screen called Signature Status. So at any point in time, if you're wondering where your documents are sitting, you can come into the Signature Status screen, and you can come here and see that there's a subcontract awaiting my signature. I'm waiting, the action requires I'm waiting for it to be signed. It's not just an approval, it's an actual sign. It's in progress. And I can go through the approval log just as I could have on the subcontract screen, but this screen houses everything, your subcontracts, your change orders, your sub change orders. And if I'm logged in as me, I can go to the assign to, and I could change this to me, and I could go ahead and approve and sign. I'm currently logged in as Farham, so it's not letting me do that. But I can go ahead and pull up the new email that I received. Let me bring it over. Okay, so again, please sign and review. It's the same process once again, but let me just complete it so you can see what happens when it's done. So same portal I'm receiving now, but this time it's showing me that Jennifer Lopez has signed off on it. She's thanking me for the business. It was signed on February 3rd, 2:13 Eastern Standard, and now it's my turn. So now I'm going to go ahead and sign electronically. Now I've already gone through this process. So the system has remembered that I already accepted the terms and I've already uploaded my signature. So the second time, the third time, etc., that you go in to do the approving or the signing, you don't have to do any of that stuff I initially did. Everything will be remembered for you. If you would like to recreate or clear it and do a new signature because you're bored with this one, you can do that. If you're happy, you just go ahead and accept and sign. When I do this, the same process occurs. I see the document, the subcontract, I will see the signatures in there, and that will complete the process. So there's JLo's signature and there's mine. Hers is nicer. So now I'm going to go back to the subcontract screen. I'm going to refresh again. Oh, reload, sorry. Oh, I didn't finish it on my end. My apologies. I have to hit finish first. So now you can see that the status has been signed. So it went from Barham to JLo to me. Oops, sorry, wrong one. And here's the best part. The subcontract has automatically been posted. So I can go into the document screen. I can see that the subcontract is signed. It's if I open this up, it's going to be the signed document that you just saw. So I won't bore you with that again. But what I also love is the compliance is filled in. So it was received on February 3rd. Everything is done. If I go to my job cost report, my commitment is sitting there for $5,000. Pretty cool, right? I can't hear your responses, but I know you're all happy. So I'm going to go to the job budget control again. I'm just going to close down that subcontract screen. And this time I'm going to issue a change order. So let's issue a change order for $10,000, okay? I'm changing the amount to $10,000. My vendor is still going to be the SF Drywallers, and I'm going to go ahead and generate a change order. Again, it kicks open the change order screen automatically. It pre-fills my cost item. It pre-fills my $10,000. I did put in a markup percentage when I created my job. So all I have to do at this point is calculate the revenue so that I can pass on this cost to the owner. You will notice right now there is no progress billing linked to this change order, but upon approval, depending on how you set this up, you have the option to have the system pre-fill your progress billing report so that whatever revenue you're recording, whatever cost you're passing on to the owners, it will automatically be captured on your next billing without you having to go in to do that work. So we're going to say this is going to be, I don't know, a new closet for the football people. And I want to make sure that I link this particular change order to the subcontract I just created because I want those SF drywallers to complete that. Okay. So at this point, I really don't need to do anything except for send it for signature or approval. So I'm going to go ahead and send for signature. This is the exact same process in terms of I'm sending out the email. The email is going to come through. I'm going to go through the process again so you can see it. But there's no learning involved. Everything is the same process, which is amazing. So I'm going to hit OK. Again, same deal here. In next week, when we release our next release, we're going to have the ability to bring over documents from the proposed change order to the change order. And those documents that are applicable to the change order that you're sending out, you will see them populate here, and you can check off whether or not you would like to send those additional documents with the change order when you send for approval or signature. So that's really cool. I can uncheck and check which documents I would like to have the signature on. If I just want to attach the documents, I can and not require a signature, so it's just for review. Or if I want them to sign every single document, I can mark every single one as require signature. Okay, so I'm just going to say, please sign as the comment. And then I'm going to hit OK. That's going to initiate the email. Look, it went to Harvey Specter, who is our architect. So I'm going to hit OK. And I got to go jump back to my email again. This time I see an email going to Harvey Specter. Okay, please review and sign. It's for a football locker room, new closet. Let's go review document. It's going to open up on a new email, a new tab, sorry. So this is what it looks like. Same thing. So Farham Musavi has sent the request. Here's the comment I put in. Please sign. And so I'm waiting on Harvey Specter now to sign it. He's going to go in. He's going to electronically approve it. Harvey Specter's done this before. Everything is pre-filled. Going to hit accept and sign. Okay, there's his signature, a little small, but there it is. Again, this can all be customized. You can make the signature really, really big. You can make it really small. We're doing this via form field, so you will determine where and what that looks like on your forms. Okay, here's that finish button that I forgot to do last time. Okay, finish. bring that over. So the best part at this point is because I've linked this change order to a subcontract, not only is this going to get approved once it goes through all of the right people. So let's see who those people are. Let me refresh this. So went to Harvey Specter, and then I believe it's going to the project manager, which is me. Once everybody signs it, the system is automatically going to create the subcontract change order that's related to this and is going to auto send the email to the subcontractor or whoever you determine it needs to go to for signing and approval. So let me just check my email, get that next one. I think what I would love to do actually is sign in as me so I can show you how to approve it from that signature status screen. Bear with me for one moment. It's nice to see the different options because I know sometimes, let's say somebody's away on vacation and you need to sign on their behalf. This will give you that ability. Let me bring this over. Okay, I'm signed in as me now. So I'm going to go to that signature status screen. And I'm going to go what's assigned to me. So here is the new closet change order that is assigned to me. So it's gone through, Harvey's looked at it. I can look at the approval log to see all of the notes associated or the comments. So Barham is saying, please sign. Harvey Specter says, all good. I can go in and I can either view the detail or I can go ahead and approve and sign. View detail will open up that change order screen. I can view it internally, or I can just kick it open to that signature portal. And here, same deal, gonna go ahead, sign electronically. There's my really nice signature, accept and sign. By doing this, that is the final approval on this change order, Harvey and me. When I hit finish, that's what's gonna kick open the subcontract change order, which is really cool. I'm just gonna move that over so I can come back in here. Awesome. So here's my approval log. My signature status, you'll notice, is set as completed, which is great. It's still finishing on this end. Oh, I didn't hit the finish button. Let me just keep forgetting to hit that finish button. Okay, let me just try and refresh that again. So what I'm looking for here is the status is going to be approved, which means basically that adjustment to my current estimate has been completed, and then the commitment is being created. The other thing I forgot to mention was, wrong one. The other thing I forgot to mention was I also set this up such that an email goes out to say all the parties have signed the documents. And this is what that looks like. 1 second, move this over. So here I'm getting an email saying, hey, guess what? Everybody signed your CO. Have a wonderful day. And I have the final signed change order included in my email. Oh, I closed it by accident. Sorry. Go ahead and pick up my job again. I think this is my login. So let me go to the other login. I opened all these signature portals and I have not closed it down. There we go. Okay. So let's try this again. Go to the subcontract change order screen. I have maybe having a connection issue. So essentially what happens at this point is the change order screen, the subcontract change order screen has been created. And give me one sec. Sorry, I think I muted you guys. Can everyone hear me now? You know what? I've got a question in here, so hopefully everybody can hear me. And I will just, oh, thank you. I've got a question. Let me just answer this question. So somebody's asking if they need to launch the signature portal on the computer. The answer is no, you can do this from anywhere, which is really, really useful. I did it on my phone just yesterday. You can go in and you can approve, you can sign right from your phone or your iPad. So you're not restricted to just desktop, and you're definitely not restricted to logging into Premier, which is really nice. All right, so apologies for that interruption. Everybody can see my screen. Perfect. So here is the change order. This is the best part, like I said. Status is now approved. Signature status is completed. I can always look at the approval log. Oh, I'm just getting reports. You can't see my screen. Okay, that should be good. So here's the change order. Like I said, status is approved. Signature status is completed. Approved date is incredibly accurate because it is dependent on when that change order was signed. That's really important for liability purposes. Here's my approval log, all of the notes that go with it. Here's my favorite part. I'm going to go to the subcontract change order screen. Too quick on the mouse. Contract change order screen. And I'm going to go to my job, which is job number 9, just to clear it up a little bit. And here is my subcontract change order that has been created. The status is sitting as pending, which means it's awaiting somebody's approval. So it is awaiting Jennifer Lopez's approval. It is her subcontract. Once she signs it, then the same thing as what happened to the subcontract will happen here. My commitment gets recorded. My job costs get updated. It is linked to the correct change order. Everything has come through from that original change order. My description, my specs, all of that. Pretty awesome. I'm going to open up the floor to questions before I get into the setup again. Are there any questions? While I'm waiting for people to type, I'm just going to jump back to the change order screen. Remember I mentioned at the time of creating that change order, the progress billing lines were not getting updated. Because the change order is approved, you'll notice that the progress billing report got pre-filled. So anytime I'm ready to do my billing, this $11,000 is going to come in as an addition to my contract, and I didn't have to do that. It was automated based on my setup. Awesome. I see no questions, which is either really good or no one's paying attention to me. So hopefully that just means really good and everyone's really excited. I'm going to switch gears a little bit now and get into the setup because I really wanted to show how awesome it is to set this up, how easy it is to set it up. And I also want to show you how nice it is to change your preferences in terms of what you would like to have automated and what you can not have automated. Some people like the ability to approve a change order themselves. Some people don't want to have it automated. They want to keep track of it. Whatever your preference is, we've kind of accommodated for all of them. So let me show you how easy it is. To set up all of the workflows for subcontract change orders and subcontract change orders, you're going to go to one screen. I always get in trouble for using the quick search. So I'm going to go into the setup, and I'm going to go to the approval management, and then that's where you're going to find approval workflow configuration. And here it's the same screen that you're used to seeing if you've used our AP approvals or our PO approvals, and if you're not, I highly recommend it. But all you're going to do is click on this drop down to determine which workflow you would like to work on. So let's start with subcontract because that's what I started with. On the subcontract setup, I can, number one, I can set up a bunch of conditions. Again, very similar to the AP or the PO workflow where I can have a separate workflow per project manager, per job, per cost type, etc. And then the most important piece here is the routing. So we also wanted to simplify the creation or the setup of this process because we understand that it takes a lot of work to set it up. So we wanted to mitigate as much of that as we could. What we did is instead of having to route to a single person for every job or every project manager, you could route it to a generic vendor project manager. And what that means is for every subcontract, you could have a separate vendor project manager, which is defined on the subcontract screen itself. And that way, for every single subcontract, it's going to send it to the right person. Further, we added an action. So you can either, like I said, have the vendor project manager sign or have the vendor project manager just approve. Probably you would like them to sign for something like a subcontract. You would like it to be binding, so that you don't want them to just view it. But maybe your internal project manager doesn't need to be on that one, and maybe you want this one to be approved. What I love about the way that we develop this is you can have a combination. So if you need 3 people to sign and 1 person to approve, you can include that on your workflow setup. So you can have your vendor project manager sign it, you can have the owner of your company sign it, and you can have your internal PM just approve it, right? So you're keeping your documents clean, but you're making sure all the right I's have hit it. You can also, for subcontracts, you have the option to disable the post button or not disable the post button. So if you still want to give the ability for somebody to override and go ahead and post, even though the signature has not been received, you can do that. You can also quite easily put in a group or like an email list of who should be notified once the entire process is completed. So it could be anybody on this routing, or it could be completely somebody completely different. So maybe you only have vendor project manager and project manager included on here, but maybe the owner of the company would like to be notified once a subcontract has been completed or signed. I can put the owner of that company here. It could be anybody. I can auto post the subcontract. I would 100% do this because it's less work on your part, but some people who don't want to do that, you can uncheck this to manually post that subcontract upon completion. And then the auto marked signed, that is if you would like the compliance to be automatically updated. I don't know who wants to go in and automate or manually, complete their compliances, but if you do, you're going to uncheck this one. So that's how easy it is to set up your subcontract workflow. This vendor project manager, this project manager, all of this setup is done either on the job screen or on the subcontract screen. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to overwhelm you. We are issuing a bunch of documentation around this to help and guide you through this process. You should have received an email on Friday that we sent out with the beginnings of this documentation. We'll also be releasing some videos today or tomorrow, shorter videos to help you with the setup of this and how to find where to set up these particular contacts. And again, you can always email us at help@jonas-premier to ensure that you book a meeting with us, and we'll help you to set up any and all of these. So I'll just go through the change order. So again, you can have as many workflows as you need to or want to. You could have one per project manager, or you can have one generic for everybody, depending on what your preferences are. For change order, what we do suggest is having one for external change order and maybe one for an internal. Internal, you probably are not going to require any signing on the change order, so you probably just want to have a routing where a bunch of PMs, executive PMs, et cetera, are approving that internal change order. That could include transfer budgets, that could include a broken pipe that you just need to add to your budget, but it doesn't need to be communicated to the owner. The options that we have here, very similar to the subcontract one, disable your approve button, attaching, creating a list of contacts to attach all the final documentations and email notification to. But we also have a lot of these options here. So auto approving the change order. Again, if you do not want the system to automatically approve that change order upon completion of this workflow, you can uncheck this. Auto generate your progress billing line. I recommend keeping this checked off. It's one less thing for you to remember, and it makes sure that whatever you're billing for gets billed. That's really important. Auto generate the subcontract change order. If you don't want the system to automatically be emailing your subcontractor, uncheck this. Auto send approval signature request for a subcontract change order. That goes along the same lines. This top one will create that change order. The second one will send the email. And then we have the same option for purchase orders. So if on your change order, the change order will affect an existing purchase order, we do the same process from a purchase order perspective without the email. You can send it for approval though, sorry. And then the last one here is the subcontract change order. So this is very, very, very simple. All we do here is auto approve that sub CO upon the last approval. The disable function and the list of contacts to notify via email with the finalized documentation is the same as the first two. So that's how easy it is to set up. We also have included, I will mention really quickly, the additional conditions for the amounts on the change orders, subcontract change orders. Sometimes maybe the owner only wants to see change orders equal to or more than, say, $100,000. If you put an amount in here, then it will only go to that particular router if the conditions of the subcontractor change orders meet the conditions listed here. So if I put in $100,000 here and my change order is for $100, well, the vendor project manager is not going to get notified. Just another way to keep it clean. Just going to check over for some questions. No questions. Awesome. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of a sneak peek. So on February 18th, we are going to do another one of these webinars. I will host it and I get to show you all of the amazing new features. Some of these I know a lot of you have been asking for, so I'm really excited to be able to show them to you. Biggest one that's off the top of my head that I'm most excited about is drill down capability. So you will be able to run an income statement or a profit and loss report. You'll be able to click and drill down to the detailed general ledger. From the detailed general ledger, you'll be able to click down and drill down to source. So I know from an audit perspective, that's incredibly useful. We also have implemented the same thing on job cost reports. I know a lot of our job cost reports do have drill down, but we've enhanced how many reports have that drill down capability, and we'll be drilling down to invoice inquiries so that your project managers can get all of the same information as your accountants do, where they're allowed to. So that's everything for me. I wanted to keep it to 40 minutes. I'm slightly over, but hopefully that was helpful for you just to get a feel of what we did release today. This is completely free of charge. We are not charging you. We're not passing on the cost to you. It's activated for every single account out there. You can go to the workflow configuration and you can start setting it up and using it today. So I hope that was helpful. If there are any questions, I will stick around for a moment. If not, have a fantastic week, and I look forward to hearing all the positive feedback.
Well, I'm sure they're gonna.
I have a slight correction to that. So you do have to sign off on an agreement to have this activated for you. So if it's something you're interested in, just email us. We'll send over the agreement. There's no charge, like I said, but we do need you to sign off on some documentation before we can actually activate it for you. So apologies for that miscommunication there. But again, no charge. Email us and we'll get you that documentation to get you started. Okay, there are no questions, so I'm going to end the webinar. We will be sending out the recording. You can send it to all of your PMs, let them know this is available once you sign off on that documentation. And then I look forward to speaking with you all again on the 18th. Have a terrific day.